Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. So, last week we were working on our new ship, which I don't really have a name for yet, do I? No, Cruzer. That's right. We came up with Cruzer. At least that's what it should be called. Let's find out. Oh, yeah. Jackass. Just set it to recharge. Oh, I am on very little sleep. It's a long story. Anyway, so we were working on this. There we go. And I went ahead over the weekend and got it finished up for the most part. Got all the armor on it. He doesn't have any landing gear at the moment. Okay. But it is completed. Pretty much ready to go. The other thing that I wanted to do was to make sure that we get it painted. I know, right? Actually, I have been able to land on the turrets. If I just very gently bring it down and then turn off the thrusters, it lands fairly well and just sits on the turrets, the bottom turrets, without much issue. But I wanted to go ahead and look at changing its colors. And no, not that. Better. It's a very bright red, but I kind of like it. Let's do some of this. Like the turret's bright red because they mean danger. And oh yeah, that's right. There was one other thing that I wanted to paint. And that is, get up here. These, whoops, doohickeys. Go back and fix that. There we go. So essentially, we are about ready to take Cruzer out to that pirate base, which last week we had discovered while we were out exploring. Okay. Battered. Go. I love the fact that I can do that. Paint good is so awesome. Okay, and awesome. Get up over the railing. Thank you. Now, of course, before we go to attack the pirate salvage base, what I want to do is get a blueprint of this. Turn those on, back up. And yep, there we go. What do you say we go? Oh, yeah. I also need all the ammo. I don't know. I need more? Maybe? Um, that should be good. Right? Keep some in the cockpit. All right. So we have our survival kit here at base, so we're fine there. If anything happens to us, that's taken care of. Let's drop off paint. And we should be good otherwise. All right. Here we go. There we go. All right. I'm just going to have to keep them all on. That's fine. All right. So we are going to make a stop. Well, we're going to head straight over there since it is pretty much a straight shot. And we're going to go ahead and hop on here. So, over the weekend, while we're on our way, some interesting stuff has been happening both on the Twitch side of things and on Discord side of things as well. And some stuff, I found out some stuff that I wasn't aware of, which that's not outside of the realm of possibility. I find out stuff that I don't know all the time. But what makes this interesting is that it shines a little bit more light on recent activities that Discord has been going through. But the Twitch side of things, right now there is a massive back and forth happening between a couple of content creators that is really kind of exploding. And in the short term, it's not going to mean anything. In the short term, it's just a couple of dudes, a couple of groups that are going back and forth at each other. That happens all the time. What's really going to change things, though, is in the long term, depending on how it goes, as it might wind up kind of leading towards sort of a YouTube-style apocalypse. I kind of hope it does. I kind of do. But a lot of it is ideological back and forth and drama, and we're not going to get into that. But it's the fallout that is actually more important and something that I'm more interested in, simply because of the fact that it can directly impact all of Twitch, depending on how it goes. So that's something to keep our eyes on. But then on top of that, with the Discord stuff, what was it, Friday, I had gone away from the computer, and when I came back, I hopped on Discord and I was looking through the server list, and I noticed my servers was gone. Not mine personally, just one of the ones that I was in. And it just happened to be a spicy server. It's, not safe for work, adult content kind of stuff. But it's attached to a website that I go to for a lot of random stuff. Primarily a great place to get assets from Daz 3D or Daz Studio. I am not noticing Pirate Base over. But I'll share it later. What's interesting though is that the Discord server, just got straight nuked. Discord decided that they just wanted to get rid of it, and they did. Just poof, gone. And the speculation is, and with good reason, that there are a couple of different reasons why this happened. First is that that's not the only adult Discord server that got nuked. Many others have also been getting hit. But on top of that, one of the issues that people have been noticing, and I was noticing this, or I was reading this up on Reddit as well, is that a lot of people are getting random bans from the new AI assistant that Discord is using for monitoring stuff. Yeah, I think our little pirate station disappeared because I'm not seeing it anywhere. It should have been here. But it looks like what Discord is doing is cracking down on not safe for work content, adult content in general. And specifically because of the fact, yeah, I've gotten a couple as well. But the reason why is because of a twofold thing. First of all, there was a report recently that Discord has been looking at banks or at banking institutions, which can oftentimes mean that they are looking at working with or being partnered with. Hey, what's up, Tommy? Being partnered with credit card companies like Visa. And Visa is notoriously anti not safe for work content. They are very anti spicy stuff. That was something that Patreon has had to deal with. That was something that OnlyFans had to deal with. It's what a lot of companies have had to deal with, which is dumb. But whatever. The other thing is that Discord is also in a lawsuit in New Jersey because of something similar, where a parents group is apparently upset with them for not protecting their children better. Personally, I'm like, why aren't you protecting your children better? But, you know, whatever. It is what it is. So, what this means for the future of Discord is that we could be seeing a drastic change in the way that Discord gets used. My biggest concern is that they will start cracking down on private conversations between people, and they will start being a little bit like the Gestapo, going, we don't like what you have to say, you are now banned off of Discord. Good luck. Or their AI will misinterpret something and be like, well, that sounds a lot like this, so you're banned. Good luck. Well, that's an interesting thing that you bring up. In fact, you'll probably notice this pop up here in the future. There is another competitor for Discord. And actually, you can't go back to Skype. Skype is gone. Skype is just straight up dead at this point. Yeah. Microsoft shut it off in March, I think. But there is a competitor to Discord called Revolt. Revolt. I'm a little bit sad that Skype is gone too. Hey, Angel, how you doing? I know, right? But Revolt is still work in progress, but looks and acts a lot like Discord. And I already have the Cruzer Mk II server up and running. It's not something like I'm moving over there, so I'm not like, you have to join it now if you want to stay in touch. It's just, I am setting it up just in case things go weird with Discord. Plus, it also offers another avenue and another opportunity for communication, depending, because I know some people actually don't like Discord. I know that there are people who will like, Discord sucks, I hate Discord, blah, blah, blah. So this is more or less just a way to help expand the avenues of communication that are available. Okay, where the hell is this damn pirate base? That, yeah. I remember my dad used to use Skype a lot for phone calls. In fact, so years ago, it was about, I'll say, a year and a half or so before my dad passed away. Might have been two. Anyway, the timeline's a little fuzzy for me. But he had gone through major pain medication withdrawal after the pain clinic just cut him off cold turkey. And that led to him then also going through some other medical issues, which led to him losing his marbles. But at one point in time, he had it stuck into his head that he had to have Skype set up as his phone number for some reason. It was either Skype or Google. I think it was Skype. So he had to pay for Skype minutes. And we could not convince him otherwise. He could not fathom the idea that he was wrong about this. That it was not important. He did not need it. There was no reason for it. This pirate base does not exist anymore, which makes me sad. But it was almost impossible to try and get him convinced of this. Well, damn. This is kind of a letdown. I thought the pirate base was still going to be here, but it disappeared. All right. Well, in that case, let's head back to base. Now, there was another location that I wanted to look at. Or actually, we've got some fuel and some time. If we find another ice lake nearby, I'll stop by and grab some ice. But I was really hoping to pew-pew that place. Okay. Oh, well, let us continue. Yeah, no worries, Tommy. As always, thanks for stopping in. Always good to see you, buddy. Now, this is something that I kind of hope that they fix in Space Engineers 2, is the hills and the valleys and all these crevices and whatnot are cool at first, until you start to realize that they exist in a way that doesn't feel natural. You know what? Let's see if we can take out this place. because why, yes, I have. Oh, shit. Now you let me shoot. Okay. I need the GTTs. Target neutrals. Yeah, I do have smooth voxels. I'll get the call. I think it's dead, Jim. Okay. Let's see. Control. Objective disabled. Ah, that's why. Okay. Well, let's see what we have here. I think it's similar to the... Wow. We tore the shit out of that one. Didn't really mean to, but we kind of just did. Yeah, I tore a new hole. I'm like, you know what? Screw you. I need to shoot at something. Okay. Of course, there's like a tree right here. Go away, tree. Kinda, yeah. I need a different block. Hug the tree. No. Okay, iron. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Yes. Got to find that other small cargo container. I wants it. I wants it.
Inventory full.
Because of the fact that it has... Is that it right there? Yes. Okay.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory
Yes, I know.
full. Inventory 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 full.
Hey guys, the fucking inventory is full. And then here goes the third one should pop up. Come on, Nightbot. I know, right? There it is. Where's the armory? Is this it? Well, this wasn't originally the target. Oh. Ooh. Ah, here's the armory. That is absolutely beat shit. Yes. We just got an upgrade. Wait. What? There's a third small cargo container? But where? Oh, there it is. Don't need you. Don't need the tire. Will, however, take that. And I need to make a... Oh, I just realized. I don't have an easy straight line directly to the cargo containers. Now I do. There we go. This event controller is in my way. All right, Tommy, have a good one, buddy. And there we go. What's in there? Oh, ooh. More motors. That really right there is worth its weight in gold, I guess. That alone is going to be worthwhile. Let's just get rid of that. Console as well. Don't need it. Out of the way. Motors, power cells. We'll actually be able to make some batteries out of this. There we go. Actually, let's get rid of this and that. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is going to be nice. What this is going to do is allow us to make more batteries. Since at the moment, nickel is kind of the thing that was holding us back. It also means that we have more motors for making more thrusters or just anything in general. In fact, could probably even start working on potentially moving into a large grid ship. Oh, go. Hey, Turnip, what's up? Okay, got everything there. Back up. Ooh, nice. Worthwhile to hit that. And it's over here. Oh, just air vent. Alrighty. So much destruction and debris. Alright, let's get these because I can use the metal grids. Ooh, some stuff in there. Decent haul out of this one, actually. That is always a difficult choice. Which game to play first thing in the morning? Actually, I think Inzoi is the one you want to go with these days. Not The Sims. Okay. Let's grind this all the way down. And anything else in here? Oh, wow. Yeah, there was a bunch more stuff in there. Okay. Two components. Okay, so we're about full. That is fine. Just grab what else we can. You have
Inventory full.
motors and power
Inventory
cells.
full.
Ooh. Oh, that's just not fair. Try and squeeze anything else. Try and push it through the little hole. Nope. How about... Yep, nope, that's full too. Okay. Huh. That's weird because I had no problems with it. All right. Oh yeah, she is a little heavy now. That's okay. We're going to get this home. We're going to get this unloaded. And we are going to have so much extra stuff to go through. It's going to be fantastic. I was hopeful we would be attacking a pirate base, space pirate base, but you know, a neutral base will work as well. Altitude. Now, fortunately, I did also go and grab some extra ice earlier, so refueling shouldn't be too difficult. Man, it's amazing how quickly we can go through some H2 fuel. But also, it was a good raid. This poor little thing. I will say this, though. It was dishing out a lot of hurt real quick. Like, it cut through that base real fast. And there we go. Now I just have to start pulling a bunch of stuff out again. In that case, what I should do is need construction. All right, first of all, go away. One of you goes away. One of you gets kept. Ready, you. Character tools. Okay, there we go. Let's get scaffolding in here. Go. That should make it so I can get to either side. Yay. Let's see, I am the right engineer. Nice. That is gonna be fantastic. Now, what would be interesting, and this is something that I wish they would implement a little bit better, is as your reputation with a particular faction gets worse, that particular faction would start trying to go after grids that you own. Sort of like the way that modular encounters will spawn enemies to attack you. As that would increase the moments of tension, and especially if they did it at various intervals, So let's say you have a crappy reputation, but it's not too terrible. They might send every 4 hours a small attack craft or two. Nothing too major, a couple of small light drones with like interior turrets. And as your reputation continues to worsen with that particular faction, I don't know. I would definitely put that at the higher end of the scale, because once you start giving NPCs the ability to hack, it starts becoming a little, well, it starts becoming a lot more difficult to deal with them. Plus, there should be some sort of paper, rock, scissors involved in that. I think anytime that you are doing combat like that, paper, rock, scissors is a great way or a great system to sort of default back to and look at it going, okay, I have ability A, which beats ability B. B beats C, and C beats A. But backwards, they're all weak to each other. So it's one of those things. Yeah, exactly. Corruption is such a huge pain in the ass. So it's one of those. And in fact, I almost think that it should just remain as part of a mod. So it's something that if you want the harder difficulty of the corrupt mod, use that instead. But just generic space engineers, I don't think that would be something that would benefit the core gameplay. Exactly. Alrighty. So there we go. Battery's getting a little low. Might be worthwhile. How much ice do I have? I have none. What other crap do I have on board? I have a bunch of stuff in the connector. Okay. Do I have too much stuff in here? I do. It's a little bit full. Okay. That explains it. Okay, in that case, what I'm going to do. That definitely sounds like an incredibly fun place to hang out. That's where all the cool kids are. And there we go. There we go. Give ourselves a little extra storage capacity. Beautiful. So that should get most of the stuff out of there. Awesome. But yeah, I would like to see them, and this is also a hope for the future of Space Engineers 2, that they increase the abilities of the NPCs, of the NPC factions. Because of the fact that, first of all, giving players something to fight against in a sandbox is never a bad thing. And especially when they get the opportunity to sort of custom tailor the experiences to themselves through options. Maybe that they could have an option so that enemies are static, they don't go out hunting, That would be an easy checkbox. Enemies go hunting. Boom. They could have it so that enemies don't spawn drones, enemies don't spawn bases, that sort of thing. So you can custom tailor the enemy section or the NPC section so that you have a lot of options for it to make the experience very personal to you or to your group. So I think that would be something beneficial for the future of Space Engineers, and more importantly, Space Engineers 2. Because I think that's part of why some players don't get that deep into it. Because they're looking for something to fight against. They're looking for a reason to build the really cool mega ships, the fighters, and stuff like that. And they don't really get that, especially on console. So being able to achieve that sort of gameplay would be hugely beneficial, because I think that's what a lot of players are looking for. See? Yeah. All right. I don't even think I got shot. Let's check the bottom here. Nope. Not a single scratch. No, getting to Factorum is definitely not always easy. But there are also a lot of people, myself included, who do not care for going into space if at all possible. We like to stay on the ground because we like the planet. That's where all the fun stuff happens. Space is big, it's empty, it's boring. It just is. Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. I love Earthlight. Earthlight, I think, is one of my favorites. Every once in a while, I actually enjoy Pertum. I like Pertum because it's like Earthlight and Mars kind of stuck together. All right, let's see. I think I got everything out of here. Yes, I did. All right, so the only thing that I have left to really grab here is go grab some more ice, which I should probably do. Start considering what I want to do next. Honestly, actually, what I really want to do next, what I should do next, is look at making some sort of rover for coming out to the ice lake and collecting a whole bunch of ice and bringing it back, so that I'm not necessarily constantly flying out here and using all of the hydrogen that the ice is for. And then that way, I can actually save some fuel. Yep. That's what I mean by I can go ahead and land on the Gatlings. They kind of work as little feet, honestly. But I can go ahead and collect a whole bunch of ice. And this is why I think a ground-based vehicle would work better, because I don't have to sit there and worry about flying out here. It'd just be a quick 4-kilometer drive. Go. Especially because ice is always a good thing to have more of, but rovers are able to carry a lot more of it because they're not having to spend, ice is great. They're not having to suspend or lift their own weight plus the weight of whatever they're hauling. Now, one of the things that I'm interested in seeing from Space Engineers 2, and especially as they keep looking to include liquid water, which awesome, is how liquid water and ice are going to be handled, or if there will be ice. If it's something where they're going to replace ice with liquid water, or if they're going to have both. I hope they have both. And I hope it's based more so on the geography of the planet. So that way, as you go farther into the Arctic regions of a planet, let's say like on Earth, like the North Pole or the South Pole, or at altitudes, you start coming across more ice than water. Or have entire ice moons like Europa. That would be cool too. There are lots of things that they can do with ice still. Lots of things they can do with water. I would also like to see an expanded palette of flora. Trees, grasses, plants, that sort of thing. And get a little bit more alien with it in some cases. Europa's fun. I actually really like Europa. In fact, generally, I will try and make Europa an ice stop, like a gas station, if you will, because of the fact that it is just, a big ball of ice. It makes it perfect for that sort of thing, and it does have an abundance of resources. Which makes it perfect. Okay, that should be enough ice. Let's head back home. One of the things that I am kind of interested in doing here good way to do it. One of my playthroughs, one of my old playthroughs, we started on Europa. I wound up having to hijack a friendly ship because that was the only way I was going to get anything. Only to find that there was resources like a hop, skip, and a jump away from me, but I just couldn't find them at the time. So I steal the friendly ship, it becomes a base, and then from that base and from that area, I was able to build the first ship that I uploaded to the workshop, which was the Ark. The Ark then got me to Earth-like, and Earth-like got me to an asteroid base. In all fairness, Europa is a very difficult moon to spell. Okay, let's very carefully come in here. Good enough. There we go. All right, I need to take a quick AFK. And then when I get back, we'll see about making a rover, maybe. Possibly also making some adjustments to this guy. One of the things that I might do is at some point actually lengthen the back of it out a little bit and maybe see about um, adding some additional batteries and a couple of the larger atmospheric thrusters. I think is the direction I might go with that. So yeah, quick AFK, and then I will be back and we will continue doing some work. Let me break this. There we go. Be right back. All right, and we are returned. Hey, Matt. Revolt is basically a new up-and-coming competition for Discord. I found out about it because there was some interesting stuff that happened over the weekend, some interesting news. And so I checked it out. And it's basically Discord, but indie again. I believe they do, actually. Oh, what was it? Friday, one of the Discord servers that I am on. Let's not be shooting stuff. But one of the Discord servers that I'm on got nuked. It's a spicy Discord server that's attached to a website that I get some stuff from. And it just got, evaporated. And it's something that Discord is steadily cracking down on, is trying to get rid of anything that they deem as not safe for children. They're trying to clean up their act. And so what's going to wind up happening is that they're going to wind up banning a whole bunch of people and banning a whole bunch of servers and getting rid of people that actually use their service. And they're going to wind up pissing a bunch of people off. I know, right? They're going to wind up pissing a bunch of people off. They're going to lose a whole bunch of people. And then eventually they're going to go into a decline. As useful as they are, and as big and ubiquitous as Discord is, they are not too big to fail. In fact, they are right at that size where they need to be careful. It didn't say the thing. Here, take your points back.
I see the hums.
There it goes. That one, what? Apparently it does. It really is. The bots are, even the bots are sexist now. Okay, let's go get this unknown signal.
I'm a bitch at the voice text thingy bot.
There it goes. Really need to get rid of that alert sound, is what I need to do. Honestly, I would absolutely love to have way more control over the alerts than I actually do. They do, actually. Discord is using AI to start looking for that stuff. Ooh, zebra suit. It is a well-known fact that they are using AI. In fact, because of this, I wound up having to go look up a bunch of stuff.
TTS/is/hard.
But a lot of people recently have been getting banned. I spend a lot of time listening to people who are Aussies. So yes, zebra. I even sometimes say Z instead of Z. But one of the things that I was reading up a lot on is that the AI, funny enough, there's a couple of really good stories that came out of this. So the first one is that there is a guy who got banned on Discord who had written a bot. Actually, I think it was his bot that got banned. But he wrote a bot specifically for finding and reporting individuals that were active on this one particular Discord server that was known to be predators on Roblox. Well, they banned his bot because of it. And so it's like, okay, they banned the bot, but not the server that is the problem. Okay, we see where you're at, Discord. There was a dev for a fairly popular game recently who got his account banned because he had shorthanded control points or something to that effect to just CP, which is a fairly normal abbreviation for things like control points. But of course, Discord didn't see it that way and they banned him for it. And so that was just some of the stories that were popping up from the stuff that I was seeing of people getting banned by Discord's AI. And it's like, okay, well, good to know. And that's, you've also got one of the creators / CEO of Discord, original CEO, stepping down. They're bringing in a former Activision Blizzard CEO or executive to become the new CEO. And anybody who has paid attention knows how awful Activision Blizzard has gotten over the years. So, yay. Yeah, exactly. Now, Discord's probably going to truck right on along. It has a lot of corporate support. They're going to be getting financial support. And so in the end, what's going to wind up happening is it will be a shell of its former glory. People will still use it, but it won't be what it used to. And then eventually, Microsoft will buy it up because they buy everything. And then within about 4 to 5 years after that, it'll die. Yes. That is the problem when certain things get too big, is that they become too corporate. Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, shoot. I need to add a whole bunch more. Let's do this. Yep, no worries, Matt. Let's put that in place. Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting to look at the past 15 years, let's say, and see all of the changes that have happened in multiple industries, but specifically centered around gaming. Because gaming has had so many changes over the past 15 years. Hell, over the past 20 years, the gaming landscape has changed drastically. Um, Good question. Don't know. Share the love, and apparently, yes, you are a VIP. Oh, I wonder if that's because I wonder if Nightbot did that. Hold on, let me check on something. Dash. I thought I added. No, Nightbot didn't do that. Apparently, I did. Okay. Regular. Also. There. You are now also one of the regulars. You. Way. You're welcome. I'm trying to get a little bit more active in ensuring that those who are part of the community and contribute both intellectually and just temporally are recognized for that contribution. Because you guys are awesome, and you all actually keep me mostly sane. It's a difficult job, so congratulations. But just the fact that so many of you guys keep coming back, even when I switch games and do stupid stuff, it's awesome. So it's kind of like rewarding loyalty. That is very close. We are going to go get that one. And that is exceptionally close, but also still so far. One of the other things that I want to try out today is kind of an experiment. So, some of you may know this, some of you may not, but once I get finished with a stream, I will go ahead and export it out typically over to YouTube. Partly as just a method for cataloging or whatnot. Ooh, cow boots. The streams, but also just in case somebody missed it or they want to go back and watch the series, they can do so. But one of the things that popped up was a short from Pirate Software talking about how shorts that get exported over from Twitch do not get nearly as much exposure and traction as those that are just uploaded directly to YouTube. So what I want to do today is I'm going to try this. I'm going to download the VOD, and then I'm going to upload it directly to YouTube rather than exporting it over, and see if that has a difference on the amount of traffic that the video generates, because that'll be an interesting experiment. Yeah, no worries, Turnip. I am always okay with people who are just here to lurk. They need some background noise. Just something to be there in the void. I understand what it's like to need just some sort of auditory activity in the background of life. One of the things that I used to do all the time was listen to bastard. I was listen to like music and stuff. Go. Get find a nice playlist, or back in the day, actually listen to CDs. Oh, gotcha. Yes. I try to read everything. It may take me a minute or two to catch it, but I try to. And thank you, by the way, for that. I do, again, I do try and be entertaining, or at least engaging. So, a little bit of validation there. Thank you. Oh, come on, you bastards. There we go. I hate the little pieces of armor. There we go. Definitely need. I'm actually glad that this particular unknown signal showed up. One of the bigger ones, because that's a lot of extra steel plates. Yep. And the extra steel plates are going to go a long way towards helping us with our rover. Wait, you actually listen to me, Hollows? What the hell? You crazy. But again, I appreciate it. Oh, water, yes. Water, good. Okay. Yeah, I try not to go too quiet, but there are points where, like, when I get my most quiet is usually when I am trying to figure out a solution to something, or when I'm stumped by a particular problem. When I'm really tired. And it usually happens more towards sort of the middle to late portions of the streams. Usually about the 3 to 4 hour mark is where it starts happening the most frequently. The first couple of hours aren't too bad. That's when I still have plenty of coffee in me and plenty of caffeine. But even I notice when I'm like, okay, I'm not saying anything. It's been like 15 whole seconds and I haven't said a single word. They're going to think I've died. So, but that, and that is one of those interesting things about streaming as an occupation, or streaming as, a hobby, is that it's one part personality, one part professionalism, and then like 2 parts just trying to be entertaining if possible. Yes. Well, and that wasn't random. That ramp dip was specifically there because I was originally working on the old Cruzer, which was sitting over here, and I needed to get under it. So I had made that little dip there so that I could get up underneath of it. But now I don't need it. I can go ahead and flatten it out. Okay. So what we need, because I just haven't yet, I have a limited number of supplies. I need to make them last as long as possible. All right, that should be good. And Matt, that is a good point. And this is something that a lot of other way more successful streamers and content creators have said, is that oftentimes you can be incredibly entertaining, you can be incredibly good, you can be grinding hard, but that that spark, that special something, that moment that catapulted them into the spotlight just never hits for most other people. There's a reason why the Quesos and the Kaisenats and the Asmongold's are as popular as they are. And it really just comes down to the fact that there was that one moment where they were able to kind of sink their claws into cultural zeitgeist. And after that, they just took over. And they were able to get super popular. Oh, those are streamers. Queso, Queso, Kaisenat, Asmongold, IShowSpeed. Speed. Shit. Strife Hayes. God. Now I can't remember. Anyway, but there's a lot of streamers out there that got popular because they were in the right place at the right time, whether they realized it or not. Well, you're weird. I hate to tell you this, Hollows, but you're just weird. Oh hell yeah. I mean, I guess there's that Turnip Lee fella. They're, cool, I guess. They're all right. Yes, Asmongold, Asgold, the Roach King. Asmongold is a very strange phenomenon. But Asmongold is a very strange sort of situation in terms of content creation because he has been around for the better part of a decade. And he exists in a strange bubble of content itself, in that he's in the gaming sphere, he's a reactor, he's in politics, and he's just a general streamer. And yet, he's still super huge and super important while not being that big either. It's weird. And yeah, that's actually true, Matt. Some celebrities and some people love the fact that some people don't know them. That there's people that don't know who these individuals are. They're like, I don't know how that happens, but I love it. Somebody who reacts to, how is it that you consume so much stuff, Hollows, and yet don't know what these things are? I know you spend a bunch of time on YouTube. Let's get these cleaned up. Need all of that. Uh-huh. Yeah, basically, yes, they react to things. They got super popular during um but yeah, React channels got super popular during the pandemic. And primarily because of the fact that as everybody was isolated and stuck inside and quarantined, that it gave a lot of people the opportunity to what titty quantum titty. It gave people an opportunity to still have kind of a interpersonal relationship of sorts. Right, or titties. Well, yes and no, Hollows. And the reason why it's a yes and no is because there are some people who will sit there and they will react to something. One of the ones that irritates me the most are the idiots who will fill their mouth with water and then they'll watch a series of quick clips that are supposed to be funny and it's a try not to laugh challenge. And it's like, that's dumb. You are not adding anything to the original clip whatsoever. What makes people like Asmongold different, and that there are quite a few others who do this, is that they will actually pause throughout the video to discuss and or talk about what the video is talking about. So they will react to it by giving their own thoughts, by giving possible rebuttals, by giving positive anecdotes. There are lots of different ways that people can react to particular content. And it's not just reacting to somebody else's video. There's music react, there's television, movies, lots of different react channels. So the react field is very big and very broad. There's a lot of different ways that it can be done. I was looking for something and distracted my own dumb self. Yeah, now Sniper Wolf and Illuminati can go jump off a bridge. Let's see. And small rotor head. Rotor lock. Well, let me put it to you this way. It's okay. The problem is, I know what your social life is like, so it's going to be hard for me to find something that particularly relates in a meaningful way. But back in the day, it's very similar to the way that people would that say, "You have no fucking life, Hollows." I know you don't have a life because I don't have a life. Exactly. And that means you have no hope. Because my mom is constantly calling me hopeless. Anyway, back in the day, it used to be that a bunch of friends would get together. I know, right? A bunch of friends would get together and listen to and or watch, the latest album from whatever band they liked, or a particular movie or show, that sort of thing. That, in and of itself, is a form of reaction. It may not seem like it, but it is. So, that being said, there are lots of different ways where React content can actually be good. Another good example of this, there is a young woman who does the channel The Charismatic Voice. She herself is a trained operatic singer, loves music, and her, I'm guessing, husband, who's also her editor and producer, will select various songs and she will listen to the songs. Oftentimes, it's a wide assortment, everything from like pop rock all the way up to like super heavy metal. And she approaches it from the perspective of somebody who is an operatic singer, talking about the various methodologies that go into producing those sounds, how healthy it is to sing certain ways. But one of the things that she recently did within the past year is started on a study for recording and better understanding how the vocal folds within the throat actually work. And this is all due to her interactions with a couple of metal singers that she has become friends with over the years. And in fact, recently there's one, Will Ramos, I think is his name. I don't remember what band he's from. But they did an endoscope on his throat while he was doing his guttural, his scream singing. And it actually produced a lot of really interesting videographic evidence as to what's going on inside of the throat as that singing is utilized. Hey, what's up, Dots? And so what winds up happening is that her React content has actually led to scientific studies being done. So React content can be bad, and generally it's just a cheap and easy way to make stuff, to make content. However, there are those who are capable of utilizing it for the betterment of things. Oh yes, I have actually watched 7-4 Gear before. I do like his stuff. Yeah, what's up, Dots? Let's see. Oh no, I'm out of steel plates. Let's do... I guess we could do 5x5 wheels on this. Nope, this one is not going to have any Hispanic thrusters. No Hispanic thrusters on this one. Let's do that. There you go, Turnip. No Hispanics. Well, this is a Hispanic-free Earth-like zone. To answer your question, Dots, there's okay. There's a couple of different ways that you can go about this. If you're not afraid of using a script, what you would want to do is to go ahead and build out the satellite, put a couple of rotors on it, put a programmable block on it, and then Izzy's solar alignment script actually has an option for being a satellite or being in space, where it will automatically rotate the ship to be in alignment with the sun at all times. So that's one way you can do it. I believe you can use the custom turret controller on the satellite to do the same thing, to try and keep a couple of turrets for solar panels aligned with the sun as well. But those two would be the two easiest ways to do it. The other possibility is that you actually build. How would I do this? Depending on how big this satellite can be, how you want to launch it, you could just build a satellite that has like 6 solar panels on it, because the orientation isn't going to matter too much. So you could do like 4 flat panels around it, and then 2 other panels, top and bottom. And so that way, as the sun is moving around, they will constantly or nearly constantly be getting sunlight at any point in time. Now, obviously, as the sun goes behind the Earth or the planet, they will lose contact with the sun. But that would probably be the best way to do it. Also, in a lot of cases, satellites aren't going to be generating or utilizing enough power demand to where they're going to be draining batteries that quickly. So it's one of those that just a couple of decent batteries, some solar panels, and then whatever else you want to put on them, and they should be fine for days. Because again, you also have to consider the fact that the power output. Yeah. Well, not all of the blueprints are going to be good. So. All right, let's do. I don't want to do off-road tower, or let's do regular suspensions. Well, what you may want to do is before you actually release them into the wild, is to give them a full charge first. Because that will definitely go a long way towards helping them last. I know, right? Let me hop on there real quick. Okay, awesome. And so, and again, let's see. Yeah, right. And again, Revolt is not going to be the replacement. You're having problems with that, Matt. Well, what are you trying to do with the satellites? That's the biggest. I think that's really going to be the biggest thing is what are you attempting to do with them? There we go. Ooh. I just had idea. It was painful. Okay. So they're just basically acting as a relay for. Okay. All right, let's do this. We're going to do a little bit of creative building real quick. Honestly, I know Dots does this to me all the time. Here's an idea. Here's a problem I'm having. Now build me the thing. This is what always happens. And I fall for it every time. Because I'm a problem solver. Damn it. Ship construction. Yeah, let's just go here. This will work. Yep, there it is. There it is. Every fucking time, Dots. I love you. But I know this happens every time you come into a problem. Let's go to Cruz. Cruz will do it because Cruz is dumb. And I am very dumb. I fall for it every time because I'm like, well, shit, how would I do that? And then 4 hours later, yeah, there you go. All right. Let's see. So, all right. There goes the birthday drill. All right. So the biggest thing is we need to first come up with the satellite. Yeah, that'll be fine. So, boom, battery. Oh, yeah. I don't get rid of saves generally. I will back them up, but I generally won't get rid of them. Okay, the next thing is that we need an attach point. Let's grab our scaffolding. What the hell are you doing? No. You do this a little bit more than once a year, but no, it's fine. It wanted to. I made it disappear. I need something that is going to blow that up. Do I have anything? Oh, that's why. Okay. Satellites. Let's see. Thought I had something. For defense, but apparently I don't. Apparently. Sure. Nope, that won't work. Okay. No, no. Well, I don't generally have a reason for a comm satellite, so generally have much of a reason to actually build one. Fine. Not a big deal. It gives me something else to do, honestly. Go. All right. You sending another one? No? Okay. You know what? Yes. Building here. There we go. Let's just go over here. Let's delete this pirate raider. And then everybody will be happy again. I have a feeling it's probably going to send another drone after me. Kind of like that one. Is there two of them out here? I bet there is. No. Just no. I have the power of God. You are no match for me. Here, drone, you're next. No. Okay. Oh, Jesus. All right. Now, where is... Are you posting porn again, Matt? What did I tell you about that? Thanks. Okay, back to work. All right, so I need solar panels. Damn it, Hollows, you had one job. Go. Okay. Let's see. What's your PCU count right now? 592. So I've got to actually reduce that. You come up with some of the most obnoxious and obscene requirements. It's like you intentionally make this harder than it has to be. I swear to Christ. Okay. Let's throw on. Let's do rotor there. Bridge helm. Controller. And camera. Okay. Do that. Want you to track the sun. Huh. Okay, let's try this. Okay, what we're going to do is take off that. I want where? There we go. Hinge. Rotor. Okay. What if that view turret controller is there? Then I build off of oh, for the love of all that is holy, attached to the underside, you dumb son of a bitch. There we go. Well, I don't know what to tell you, damn it, Dots. Like, there's only so many solutions that I can come up with. So, okay, here's the problem that you're facing. what you want is going to require either a lot of work or a lot of work. In either direction you go in, you're going to have to do a lot of setup. Now, the other problem that you want is that you want a lot of these. A lot of those is going to cost a lot of PCU because you either need a script to run it or you need a you're just going to need a script. Like there's just no way around it. And I am hardly the expert, but thank you, I appreciate it. Well, the problem is not power management. The problem is limitations. I'll definitely take a look at that, but because when you really look at it, battery, okay, cool. And actually, what I need to do is, let's just save this, exit. New game. Let's do empty world, customize. Okay, enable those, enable in-game scripts, random encounters off, planetary. Yes. Progression off. Weather system off. Bounty off. Shake. Survival. And I want build. There we go. Okay. The only two mods that we're going to have. And we're going to start this in empty space. Oh. Yes. There we go. Okay. Okay. So let's do turn on creative tools for now. Get rid of all this stuff. Don't need it. I want battery. I want rotor. Actually, not you. I want beam block, and I want solar panel. And then programmable block. Oh. Ooh. I have an idea. Don't know how feasible that's going to be, but I have an idea. Maybe. But first, I'm going to take a quick AFK because I got to think about this real quick. And I need some water. What time is it? Okay. And then think that's about it as far as parts. Yeah, but I want to try. Oh, and an antenna. Antenna. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Always remain hydrated. Okay. I shall be back in just a quick few, and then we will get to work on this. Okay. I think I have an idea. Okay, so the biggest thing is we need to be able to create a self sufficient communications relay satellite. So the biggest thing is that we first need our battery. Then I need gyro on it. And I'll try this one. The first one I'm going to do without programmable block. Let's use the compact antenna. And then we're going to do one like that. One like that. And then one like that. So that at any given point in time, it will hopefully always be getting some sort of sunlight from any conceivable direction. Now, currently, battery fully charged in 13 hours. So, compact antenna. Whack that all the way up to the 50,000 meters. Battery, -6 days. Okay, so that's still not enough. What about the PCU? PCU on this is 330 currently. What if double up those? Makes it a little bit bigger. Fully recharged in 11 hours. There you go. I think that is about the best we'll be able to do. So, max range antenna, a single battery, no gyroscope. Like it actually doesn't need that at all. And PCU wise, we are at 445. So times 100. Oof, that is a little heavy. Unfortunately, I don't know that I can make it any smaller. Like that is literally as minimal as I can make it. So let's do that. It's 445. Yeah, PCU 445. And it'll be fully recharged in 10 hours. But that is about the best I can do in terms of low PCU impact, low part count, maximum efficiency. Um, well, you have a couple of options. You could go ahead and put a projector and a welder outside of a ship and just weld them up that way. And then just disconnect it and you're good to go. Could always do a merge block setup. But I think the easiest thing you could do is just to go ahead and project it off of the side of a ship with a block of welders that weld the whole thing up, and then you just cut off, like, I don't know, this block here. Boop. That'll disconnect it, and then just pull off to the side, fly away, move on to the next location you want to drop it. And that's it. That's all you got to do. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. What we'll do is call these solar panels. Get it mapped. Yeah, no worries, man. Ship blocks the terminal. Battery 1, contact antenna. Relay. Okay. So, solar sat relay. Alrighty. And then pop. Okay. Now you're starting to get to a point where it's what you're essentially asking for is for me to build you the entire gameplay element. And I love you, Dots. I really do. But I'm not going to go that far every single time. What you wanted was a satellite that was self-sufficient. You have a satellite that is now self-sufficient. How you get it where it needs to go is going to be up to you. With that, build a ship, print it off, cut it off, you're good to go. Rename. Because at that point, what you're starting to do is you're going from a satellite to more or less you're looking for an actual AI-driven ship. Or you're looking for something that is more than just this. Because you would need, basically what I would wind up doing is building the entire ship, the entire drop-off system, every aspect of that. And at that point, I might as well just be doing it for myself. So, let me get this shared. Publish. Yes. This is other Steam. Yes. All right. Satellite relay. Station relay. Printed. Okay. um, yeah. Like at some point in time, I definitely need to redesign more dots. But at that point, I wouldn't be redesigning more dots. I would just be building an entirely new ship. Okay. And I don't think it needs any. Yeah, it doesn't look like it needs anything. Come on. Give me the whole thing. Thank you. Um, okay, and it's public. All right. So, it may not show up right away, but there you go. Yes. Save that, and I'll have to rename it. Exit to main menu. All right, back to what we were originally doing. Yeah, no worries, Ben. Always happy to help. Empty space. Aw, shucks. Okay. Now, back to lazy days. Look. Aw. Well, I try. All right, let's get back to work here. We still have to get our rover built. So I have a couple of different ideas for this. The first is I could just build a big giant hauler like every other truck that gets built that I build. The other thing that I'm thinking about is actually going ahead and doing it in two pieces. Well, two pieces. First is actually having a couple of the modular cargo containers on it so that it can hold on to the ice that I want to put in. Then I'm also contemplating putting a hydrogen tank on there, as well as some of the O2H2 generators, and then just going ahead and making the hydrogen directly on the truck. So that way, I don't have to constantly bring it back, drop off the ice, and then wait for the base to make it. I can actually go ahead and just make the hydrogen directly on the truck. What that also allows for is then also adding a couple of hydrogen engines onto it so that I can, at that point, also make power on the truck. Kind of like the way that a diesel truck will use its own engine to also be a generator. So I think that's the route I'm going to wind up going. Well, and it's funny because this actually is one of the encounters. This was a base that I wound up pirating because this particular playthrough, I'm not doing any drilling, or if I do any drilling, it's only from boulders or ice. Ice doesn't count though because you need ice. You can't get around it. But everything else that I get part-wise, I either have to make it from what I have available, or I have to steal it from other bases. Yeah, we were racist against us. I love your phone, Matt. I love it. Yeah, so this particular playthrough is more of a piracy playthrough, and I wanted to specifically play. I wanted to specifically play in a style and manner that I don't usually play in. So that's why I'm stealing bases, why I'm attacking neutrals, why I'm essentially being a salvager or scavenger. No tunnel, fortunately. At least not this time. Yeah, no. There, yeah, no. There you go. I still have that save somewhere. That it does. That's 1, 2, 5. Yeah. I kind of missed the tunnel. It was a lot of fun. It was quite enjoyable in that respect. Is that the right one? No, that's the left one. Just have to add that wheel after the fact. That's true. Which I was doing quite frequently too. Alright, that takes care of the wheels for this. And there. Like that. Okay. And with that many wheels, we should be able to carry just about everything we need to with us. Shouldn't be that much of a problem. But of course, you never know. There we go. Nope. That's the one, Cruz. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and place that block. That dirty, battered block. No, out of steel again. Revolt is basically a competitor for Discord. In fact, it looks almost identical to Discord. But I have it up as an additional option just because of the fact that Discord's going through some changes and they are making some motions in their ocean that are raising a commotion. And they have no lotion. Honestly, I have no idea how they plan to make money, so we'll wait and see. But it was one of the things that came up, and I think I've heard about it before. Right, and that's just it, is I'm not self-hosting, like I'm not running a personal Revolt server. I don't know how I would do that. But I'm just running a server like you would on Discord. But it's just on Revolt. And it's more or less a contingency for if something happens for whatever reason. It's just another data access point for the group. Well, the CEO that they're hiring for Discord is a former Activision Blizzard CEO or executive. I don't know which. So, again, it's just one of those things. Never hurts to have a backup. And, ooh, that one's kind of close. We are going to have to go hit that one up. Okay, yeah. Which, anytime that you get executives like that, it makes actual gamers a little bit jumpy. Because we're like, we know what those assholes are like. So in this particular case, you know, it's not supplanting the Discord server. It is just, you know, there is an additional thing. You know, it's like backing up your data. Never a bad idea. And I believe I also read that there is a crossover app that allows you to basically run Discord and Revolt in the same app, since they are almost identical. Oh yeah, no. I hope for the best. As the saying goes, hope for the best, plan for the worst. Yeah. Technically, all apps are works in progress. Hurry up. You're falling too slow. Thank you. Yay, cow boots. And there we go. Ooh, detector comp. Yes, please. And this is part of why I am doing my salvaging gameplay, because there are a lot of parts that are available on these little things. There are actually a couple of different models that have hydrogen thrusters on them, which is essentially 4 free grids, little grids, off of the unknown signals. Early game, absolute game changer that one is. And especially if you're having problems finding cobalt, which sometimes is the case, where you just don't find cobalt, or you find cobalt and no iron. So that's kind of what wound up inspiring this particular type of gameplay for this run. Drop that off. Go. Okay, back to work. So what I want to do is, I think what I want is, let's one of the things that I've had problems with in the past, when I put stuff directly on top of the suspension, it can sometimes cause issues for whatever that thing is. So we're not going to do that this time. And then I kind of want to lift my my cab up, whatever my cockpit winds up being. And let's go. We're using the cab cockpit. Let's do the flesh one. There. Grab what we need to off of here. Are you going to be sunny or are you going to be cloudy today? Make up your mind. Love talking to the weather. Because sometimes it replies and we get a tornado warning. All right. This welded up and then so I can probably stick batteries. Batteries. Warfare. Since it's on the underside, let's put the yeah, like that. That ought to be good. And that should help with power. Since I will be running the O2H2 generators on here, I want to make sure that I'm going to have enough power for them. They are, unfortunately, very power hungry. And the nice thing is, of course, we did find all of those power cells when we took out that base. So we have a lot of that to work with. And I do have a little bit of nickel from, I think it was Boulder that I found. Okay. Next up, what I want is let's throw on the 2H2 generators. And I can actually go ahead and use the lab ones for this. Some steel plate. But all right, Dots. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Always good to see you, buddy. Do stay out of trouble. Or, don't. I'm not your mama. Okay. So, the lab O2H2 generators have these sort of filament things on them that bubble and do cool animation stuff. And I'm debating on if I want to make them exposed so that there's something interesting to look at happening. And I think I do. Because I can then put where my frames are dropping again. Hold on a second. Save, exit. I think we need to restart. Let's just go ahead and restart Space Engineers because it needs it. Give it a second to go ahead. Also, I think it was Barackstar that mentioned that that somebody did a mod for the new pipes that came out with Fieldwork to actually make them conveyor pipes. Ooh, a little bit of thunder out there. If I suddenly disappear, like the stream just goes dead and I go offline, it's possibly because I lost power. That does happen every once in a while. It depends on the storm. So just giving you guys a heads up and a warning now. It may happen. I am on board with hashtag blame hollows. I hope I didn't die. I would be really upset about that. I'm kind of attached to living right now. Although honestly, and I was thinking about this. I already got to see probably one of the greatest media runs in all of history with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everything from Iron Man all the way up to Avengers Endgame. All of that stuff I watched. And it was amazing. Everything that's come out after it has either been really good or just absolute mediocrity to the point of being shit. So honestly, there really isn't anything else that I'm waiting or that I'm excited about. They killed Doctor Who. They've ruined Star Trek. Star Wars is currently in the toilet with the exception of Andor, which I haven't been watching. So everything that I grew up loving is now shit. So it's one of those, what am I still around for? What am I really doing? Okay. I refuse to watch it. I refuse to watch current Doctor Who because it is not Doctor Who, it is Doctor Who Cares. And more specifically, it's just not Doctor Who anymore. Every time Doctor Who has ever been made by an American company or American production house, what winds up happening is that it loses its identity. Ooh, good brainstorm too. But I also stopped watching Doctor Who during the Jodie Whittaker run because, ooh, goddamn, that's a good one. Yeah, well, Jodie Whittaker, she is a good actress in her own right. But her incarnation of the Doctor didn't feel good. In fact, there was, I think it was like the third or fourth episode in her first series for Doctor Who. They had a black actress playing a different Doctor. Kinda, yeah. But the black woman who was playing the Doctor, I honestly wanted to see more of her. She felt more like the Doctor than Jodie did. Jodie just felt like she was cosplaying as the Doctor, but that other one was like she had that presence when she was on screen. She felt like she was completely in control. Holy crap! That's raining a lot, like a little monsoon out there. And that was one of the things that I always loved about David Tennant as the Doctor, and eventually Matt Smith. Matt Smith was another weird Doctor at first because he was so young that you're like, how is this kid going to be able to portray somebody who's 900 plus years old? And yet he managed to pull it off. And again, I'm sure that Ncuti Gatwa is a completely competent actor. I just don't see him as being a good doctor. So 26, but close, yeah. I just recently saw one of his interviews pop up on YouTube, so that's the only reason why I know. I refuse to. And the reason why I refuse to, and this has a lot to do with the direction they've taken Doctor Who in. But the clips that I saw, and there's one particular clip that pissed me off because it's not in the spirit of Doctor Who, is when it's during the it was the anniversary episode where they were doing the bi-generation split, which that's dumb too, but whatever. But when you had Donna and that other girl who were Time Lords again, talking to David Tennant, who's reprising the role as the Doctor again. And they said that something made perfect sense if he had been a female-oriented doctor or female-presenting doctor. And that right there killed it, because that is a very human expression. That is a very human concern and a very current modern-day problem. Instead of appreciating the fact that you are talking to an alien that is hundreds, if not thousands of years old, from a species that has been doing things longer than most humans can recall historically, and you're all like, well, if you were a female, it would be different. Shut up. That's not what Doctor Who has ever been about. And I think in recent times, they've leaned a little too heavily into the sexism debate. And I kind of wish that they would stop that. I kind of wish that they would go back to what Doctor Who was originally about. And that was being more of an educational show, actually discussing scientific problems and issues, talking about or exploring the universe, and doing so from two different perspectives. The perspective of somebody who knows most of it, if not all of it, getting to see things through the eyes of humans who've never experienced it. And that really, I think, is the crux of what Doctor Who actually is you have it's like when a parent is introducing something new to their child has never seen that thing before, has never done that thing before, and you get to see as the parent what it was like for you through that child. Fair enough. And honestly, I really can't argue too much with that, Valdi. Tennant really was kind of my favorite Doctor. Although Matt Smith had some really great episodes. And Capaldi actually had some really good ones as well. Let's not discount the fact that Capaldi put in a pretty good run, given the fact that their writing was shit at that point. There were some fun ones. But yeah, Tennant is kind of the one that I think a lot of people got to know. Although Eccleston did a really good job of reintroducing the Doctor. I don't think people give him too much credit for that. Yeah. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Amy's definitely, but at the same time, I liked the dynamic that Donna had with Tennant a little bit more. No, Paul McGann was awesome. But, I mean, we're going to start going back to older doctors. Then you're looking at, what's his face? Shoot, I can see his face too. He's got the voice and, oh man. Oh, I know it. I know his name. I don't remember the number. He had the dark curly hair, the really long scarf, the nose, the voice. That would actually, yes, the curator, the guy who played him. He's one of my favorites as well because I grew up watching older Doctor Who, like older Doctor Who, because of my parents, and it was on PBS at the time. Oh, Tom Baker, that's his name. There it goes. Took me a second, but it was there. Let's go ahead and get these done. Yeah, I think his portrayal of the Doctor really helped kind of solidify for most people at that time what and who the Doctor was supposed to be. Because most of the time he was playful, he was aloof, he was just along for the ride and having a grand old time. And then every once in a while, the Time Lord would come out. And you would see in that moment that he was more than just the crazy guy going on adventures. He was the one who was actually in control. That's right. Well, and that his wife got to play the Doctor's daughter, which is all timey-wimey and wibbly-wobbly. But yeah, back when Doctor Who was a proper institution, I miss those days. And it's interesting too, and this is something that I think a lot of people don't take into consideration when talking about things from the past. I wish she had been in more episodes as well. But a lot of the things that we loved, a lot of the media, a lot of the entertainment, really were products of their time and couldn't necessarily be made today because the desire to make them that way wouldn't exist. I think Star Trek is a perfect example of this because you look at where it is today. Oh God, River's song was amazing. I love River's song. Hey! Incoming GameCube. That's what I need. I need to... Oh. Yes. Well, there we go. I know what sound that I need for Hey, what's up, Zenton? How you doing? Always more fun in the scrap. The scrap is where we're happiest. But we're talking about Doctor Who. What's that? Right. Nice. Yes, Doctor Who. Also, speaking on Doctor Who, um, the actor who played the Master opposite David Tennant was absolutely amazing as well. Absolutely, like he was that whole arc going from Dr. Yano to the Master was beautiful. The rover's going pretty good so far. We actually went out. We did a little bit of combat with. Wow. Okay, game. We did a little bit of combat with this guy here and performed admirably. And then making this rover to essentially be an ice road trucker. Missy was amazing. Michelle Gomez is the actress's name who played Missy. And I really wanted more of her. She chewed up every scene that she was in, and it was fabulous. She really was a great foil for Peter Capaldi's Doctor. I mean, when you're really thinking about antagonists, she was perfect. I could not imagine a better one. Yes. Those were the exciting days. At least for me, those were the exciting days of TV. Now, I don't know whether it's because I've gotten older or TV has just changed to a point where I'm no longer interested in it. You know, I think what it is. TV got too polished. They started making too much money. Strangely enough, I think it really became an issue where Netflix and Game of Thrones killed TV as we know it. All right, Zenton. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. You have a good one. Stay out of trouble. Or, don't. I don't care. I don't care. Ooh, badger rifle. And displays. Give me the parts. I think a great example of. Hey, fair enough. I knew there was going to be a reason why I liked you. Dirty, filthy brown coat. Go. Need this piece of armor. Thank you. But some of my favorite shows. Aww. And then the Reavers put their spears through the wash. Oh. Well, in all fairness, there's not a whole lot of Firefly to actually see. It kind of had an abrupt ending. Yes. But there's also, of course, I wish, God, I wish it had been that much. No, it's like 14 episodes in a movie. It's a boxed set, a single box set. It's so sad. Okay, let's see here. The Ballad, the Buster Scruggs. What? Using so much frame rate up. Oh, I wonder. I bet I know why. Options. Graphics. Ooh. Okay. Oh. Yeah, Jane. Hero of Canton. I haven't watched The Wheel of Time. I have known of The Wheel of Time for a long time. The reason being is that back in the day, like several decades ago, I used to be part of a role play group. We did online role playing. It's long, complicated to explain. But there were quite a few characters that were part of that role play scene that were characters based off of or derived directly from the Wheel of Time. And so I wasn't intimately familiar with them, but I had seen a lot of them show up and a lot of that stuff pop up over time. And it's it's also why I have no major love for vampires either, because everybody had to be a freaking vampire. And it's like, tired of vampires, tired of werewolves. Wait a minute, my suit's been changed. That's why I can fly around. Yeah, Rosamund Pike is actually a really good actress. And the typical, she's easy on the eyes. Mostly, she's just a really good actress. All right, Zenton, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. Oh. Come on, give me. There we go. I think what really helped her status as a good actress was when she played in Gone Girl. I think that was the one with Ben Affleck. I think after that, people realized, oh, she is actually a really capable actress. That is actually a little ironic. Fair call out there. Let's see. Actually, you know what? No. What I need to do is that. Well, I know. Honestly, as streamers, we have the benefit of being able to try and monetize the negativity. So there is that. right. So we've got our O2H2 generators over here looking mighty fine because they're doing bubbly stuff. Yay. Let's look at, I want to look at the pipes. Is there, nope. Okay. Conveyor that stuff though. Anyway, let's battery's actually charging. I did download the mod actually. I don't know if I enabled it. Oh, I bet I didn't. I bet I haven't yet. I did on one of my other playthroughs because I was working on that other playthrough that I did where I was working on the ship that was originally a station. Edit mods. It was yes, thank you. AQD Baird pipes. There we go. Okay. Loud. There we are. You can build blocks from any cockpit by pressing Control G. All right, let's. Nope. Oops. Huh. And oh, and it looks like they released the hotfix. Oh, that's for. Oh, I see. That's for the Xbox and Windows Store version. Okay. All right. Because I was noticing that there was a hotfix that had come out, or at least that they had announced a hotfix uh, for Space Engineers, and I was like, but I didn't see anything ready to download. And now I just looked at it, and it's like, oh, it's for the Xbox Windows Store version, which is entertaining to consider that there's the PlayStation and Steam version, which are close enough together or close enough in parity that they're able to release them at roughly the same time. But then the Windows or the Xbox and Windows Store version has to have a separate patch applied to it. It's like, but it should be the same as the PS3 or the PlayStation version. Yes, actually. Surprisingly enough. That's what I should do on the other side of this. Just realized. Hydrogen. A V8 hydrogen. Oh, that must be a mod. Most likely. That's from the hydrogen oxygen pack. Okay. Hydrogen tank. What the hydrogen engine? That takes up the same amount of space as that. So what we'll do here is just I don't have a console. Oh, talking about Faulty doing it. That's even better. Yeah, go ahead. Go do that, Faulty. It is your job to test for us. And then that way we can point and laugh. Actually, Icy Eyes. He used to come around. He still does. Fair enough. Icy Eyes used to come around. He played on PS4, I think it was. So, yeah, they've had console versions. In fact, Space Engineers console versions. Let's see. Versions. Let's see. Go away. Let's see. To see. That's not helpful at all. Okay, so it is out on PS4 and PS5. I imagine it's also on Xbox X and potentially Xbox One. If I had to guess. And that is completely incorrect. Well, mostly incorrect. Let's put this like that. And I can get 3 of them in there, and that will look ish. Yeah. And then we do that there. Kinda. Oh. I don't know. They didn't add no, so I will have to use. I have that mod as well. Just not using it this time. But actually, potatoes do sound really good. But it's also getting near lunchtime, and I'm getting hungry. So I know, right? All this talk of food might just be worthwhile to take a lunch break here in a little bit. But what I'm doing with this is I'm going to go ahead and add a connector to the front. Awesome. Connector. There we go. I figured this way it'll make it easier to connect to any bases. And let's take these out ish. there. And there we go. Oh, there. Perfect. It's back in. Beautiful. There we go. And that'll just ensure that we are able to connect depending on the length of wave for the connector and for the vehicle. Well, there you go. Go and build it. Go forth and procreate. H8. All right, fair enough. Sorry, guys, I have to leave early. I need to go build a rover in a video game. Good luck. Stupid large steel tubes. There you go. That's true. That is one benefit. My brother does that all the time, too. He's all like, oh yeah, no, I can just remote in from here. It's fine. Now, granted, my job is literally in front of the computer that I'm working on, so I'm a little bit faster. And there we go. There goes our 3 hydrogen engines. So we'll be able to keep this puppy recharging as necessary when necessary. So what's next is I need big old, that's the small, I want this one. I need that to be raised by 1. Whoops. Nope, you don't go there. Well, that's going to be the point, because essentially what I need this to do is I need to be able to go out to an ice lake. I need to be able to mine a whole bunch of ice, and then I need to make it transform into the good stuff. Go. Okay. Of course, more large steel tubes. It's going to be the bane of my existence right now, is the large steel tubes. Looks like it stopped raining. Sad day. Okay. I know, right? I love the rain. It reminds me of the fact that during the 90s, we had 2 really popular songs about the rain. The first was from Garbage, Only Happy When It Rains. And the other one was from Missy Elliott. And I think that was Can't Stop the Rain or something like that. Elliot. Rain. Yeah, the rain. It's just what it was called. Remember that one. Then again, that was a lot of drugs ago. Oh, well, that's different. That one's from the 80s, not the 90s. Although that is an amazing song. And honestly, Matt, that would be cool. I would be totally okay with that being an actual bug that sticks around. Sort of like a new generation of clang bugs. For this to refill. I would be totally on board with it. I think that would probably make Space Engineers 2 and its engine probably leagues above a lot of others. Well, and a moon like that would be kind of cool. If there was a moon that, oh, imagine if they did a moon that had geysers of water that would constantly rain back down and then turn to ice. Oh. Now there's an idea, because if they can figure out a way to convert liquid voxels into solid voxels, then you could do volcanoes and actually replenish and or change the landscape. Ooh, that would be awesome. It kind of reminds me of like Populous or Black and White. I wonder. Okay, I think we're about good here. Now that I'm done making myself wet. There we go. Everybody's happy. Let's see. Oh, probably gonna have to. Piston. You just need the regular piston. Not hoisting. Piston. How to spell Goober. Alrighty then. I will just push that back. But yeah, like an actual volcano mod for Space Engineers 2 would be absolutely awesome. And now I can add wheel. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that was all I was needing to do. Well, it's because where that wheel was the attachment point for building it. So There we go. Problem solved. And velocity. There we go. He ain't purty yet, but should drive like a bat out of hell. Oh yeah, I don't have handbrake on off. There we go. Alrighty, let's also add some lights to her. Let's grab the floodlights. Then we'll add a couple of area lights and she should be ready to go. Then we get to take a trip down to one of the two ice lakes that we know of, which are both about 4.5 kilometers away, which is awesome. Go. And a little bit more components. Let's do light panel. There. And there. Here we go. And probably one on the back. And this. Of course. The one steel plate that I need. One steel plate that I don't have. There we go. Alrighty. So ooh, more thunder. Floodlights. Ooh, go out to 180. Ice Lake is down that way. Let's see if we can make our way down there. Before I do that, O2. There we go. Jesus. O2 gens. 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 Batteries. And there we go. Now I should be able to take batteries and we will do recharge, discharge, lock on off, lock on off. Okay. That just makes sure that we have an additional level of control over everything. As I may not necessarily want all of the H2O2 generators to be running all the time. I may not want the hydrogen engines to be running all the time. So we have, options. And then I may want to sit there and just run the hydrogen engines and let the batteries recharge off of that. Honestly, this terrain's not too bad, so I should be able to almost full send it down the hill. Oh, I know what I don't have on it, and what I should add is some gyroscopes. And then I also need an antenna. Yeah. That is very definitely an iron boulder. I know, right? That happens all the time. But so far, so good. Ooh, I should also go through and set the back 6 wheels so that they are not steering. Okay, wheels. Steering off. All these wheels. Awesome. Did it again. I even reminded myself internally, drop your shit off. Well, fortunately, the base is going to be able to play it. Let's fill up on ice. At some point in time, I need to get my hands on some medical components, some more medical components, or silver. If I can find a boulder with silver, that'll be fine too. So that way I can go ahead and make a medical room and then change my engineer back to what it's supposed to be. Because now I'm back to the default engineer rather than the engineering engineer, builder engineer that I had been using. The difference is that the one that I had been using, which is part of a mod, they have a carrying capacity that is doubled whatever your default is. How much ice? Not bad. Let's get those started. Not those. Those. That is so cool. And then stretch it back a bit. I do like the fact that they really have been pushing the limits of what their animated blocks are capable of doing. I like the fact that Keen has actually been not only experimenting with, but just in general increasing the capability of their blocks. Oh, I just realized I are dumb. I don't actually have these connected to anything. The engines are just there at the moment. Yes, it is. They really are. But now they are decorations no longer. They are now turned on. Awesome. Okay. Now we just let it all start doing its thing. Now, what I might want to do here, and I'm not sure how I would do this yet, but what I might do is go ahead and set up. I could probably put. Let's see. Probably do something like this here with an advanced rotor on top, and then put a turret controller mechanism on here to create a crane for drilling. So that way I could, yes, I could do that. And then just have a couple of gear come down to basically attach the vehicle to the ground to lock it in place. And honestly, it shouldn't be too top heavy because of how wide the wheelbase is. If you look at the width of the wheelbase, it extends out beyond the width of the items on the truck. But then on top of that, most of the weight is also carried towards the front and in the middle anyway. So it should be well balanced. But if I put a couple of retractable legs on them, on the bottom of it so they can rotate down and then mag lock in place, I think that would be beneficial and allow for the truck to then be utilized as a drilling truck for ice. Okay. Yeah, that could work. But I think I'm going to go ahead and, now that I have an idea for something to do tomorrow, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up for today. Today has been exciting. So exciting. But yeah. So, didn't get to attack the pirate salvage base that I was hoping to get to attack because it just wasn't fucking there. Nothing I can do about that. If it's not going to be there, it's not going to be there. However, we did get to attack that other base, which was a lot of fun, and got a lot of good loot out of that. We know that the cruiser is more than capable of handling those smaller installations, so we can now use it to go and attack stuff. I know, right? How dare they? Other than that, by the time I look at it, other than that, we've got a new rover for handling hydrogen. This is basically just going to be its only job. I may go ahead and also see about putting a turret on top of it, but I'm not sure yet. I don't think I'm going to need to worry about that. So yeah, but some ideas for the future. We have some work cut out for us. And then I think we'll see about trying to find a couple more installations so we can raid them for parts and continue from there. Other than that, though, that is going to be it for today. As always, thank you all for joining me on these adventures. So glad to have you guys along for the ride. You all have a wonderful day. Stay out of trouble. And remember, if you get caught, I don't know you. I will catch you guys tomorrow.